Here we are. February 21st, 9 a.m. Eastern Time.
It's payday.
It is payday. Oh, woo. Got the cast off.
Nice.
Yep, happy. All right, let's get into it. Today we'll be talking about Russell Westbrook signing with the Los Angeles Clippers, Patrick Beverley going back to the hometown Bulls, Meyers Leonard back in the NBA, Giannis and his wrist, and we'll wrap it up with predicting every single NBA award.
The show.
So let's get right into it. Let's talk about the new man in a Clippers uniform, Russell Westbrook. Now, if you hadn't, I don't even know, been following along, Russell Westbrook has joined the Los Angeles Clippers, and you know, we all expected this. It's not shocking, but I think a lot of us will agree that I didn't have the Clippers at the start of this at the top of my list. Obviously, once more and more news broke, it became apparent that it would be Los Angeles. But I don't know if you're with me. I thought there was a better chance that he goes to Miami.
Yeah, I didn't see this happening at all. I kind of forgot Russell Westbrook was a free agent. I was almost under the assumption there was like a decent shot he was going to stay in Utah and give
So
them a
did
run
I.
in the playoffs. From the Clippers standpoint, like, this man better not start. He better not start. I don't know if he starts. If Russell Westbrook plays more than 28 minutes a night, this team will not win anything. And I feel so bad for saying that, but it's just how it's just how it's going to go, unfortunately. But I don't think he will. It's hard to even imagine Russ playing lower than 28, which is what he played this year for the Lakers, and that's the least by far he's ever played in his career. So I was very shocked. I think the Clippers, hopefully Ty Lue has realized how deadly
Los Angeles Clippers expect Russell Westbrook to take over as the starting point guard of the Los Angeles Clippers.
That is so stupid. They're not going to win anything.
Terrence Mann, who's been the starting point guard, will likely move back to the bench. This comes from Law Murray of The Athletic.
They won't win anything. Maybe they'll get to the Western Conference Finals, but I don't know why they're starting him. Terrence Mann, Kawhi Leonard, and Paul George need more minutes together, not less. So that's wild.
I do think it's interesting. Like, I assume the first couple games they maybe have him come off the bench, but yeah, no, I think definitely it's a bit, because I also don't know. Like, obviously the Clippers are a good team for him because they shoot so many threes. Like, the 3-point shooting is something that Russell Westbrook needed. They're better suited for him than the Lakers were. But with that being said, I don't know if Russell Westbrook really puts this team over. That's my big thing. Does Russell Westbrook put this team over?
Well, I'm going to go with no. I think, if anything, he hinders them. I don't think people understand, and it's going to become so clear. And, of course, everybody is saying, like, if you don't believe that Russell Westbrook on the Clippers is going to work, everyone's saying, like, oh, it's because you're a Russell Westbrook hater, and this is nothing new. It's like, no. Russell Westbrook, every good basketball fan in the world wants Russell Westbrook to win a ring. There's a reason he's never won a ring. There's a reason he sucks in the playoffs, and it's not base level statistics. It's because of efficiency. He's not an efficient player in the regular season. Like, yes, the statistics are there in Washington: 19 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists. He has good stats in the playoffs on face value. But you've seen teams like Boston. What happened every time Boston went up against the Lakers this year? They know exactly how to play Russ. Luke Cornett can be on him, and he will go and sit down in the paint. I'll let Russell Westbrook, one game out of 7 games, go 4 of 7 from downtown, and he can enjoy his 4 threes. So
well, it goes back. It
But
goes back to what you were just saying. I just think like you know how to guard Russ, and like I think Russ is better utilized as an X factor than as a starter. I'd rather have Russ come in 20 minutes a night with a green light, just tell him go off, and if he's going off, you keep him in the game. If he's cold, you take him out.
yeah, I don't think Russ has gotten out of the first round since Kevin Durant was there, all the way in 2016 with OKC. So it's going to be interesting. Like I said, hopefully I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong, and I still assume if somebody was going to help Russell Westbrook get a championship ring, it was going to be LeBron. But LeBron is in year 20 and he's very old now, or getting old. And Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, when they're healthy, are an extremely lethal duo. And hopefully, come playoff time, if it's not working, they'll put him back on the bench because, like, seriously, Terrence Mann, I don't have the stat next to me, but Terrence Mann and Paul George, Kawhi Leonard, they, as a threesome, they are so good. Like, it's one of the best trios in the NBA. So they need more minutes together.
I agree, and I think time will tell if
right.
What?
He got to the second round with the Rockets. They lost to LeBron.
Oh yeah. You're right, but no, I think definitely time will tell if this will work. I do have my reservations because with Zubats there, like I don't even know, man. Like I don't know if it's interesting to see if this will work. I just don't like. I love Russell Westbrook. I just think Russell Westbrook's better as an X factor at this point of his career than a regular starter, if that makes sense. As someone that you put in the game and tell him to cook.
It's just the issue is even when you do that and he puts his ego aside, just like the way he left the Lakers, is he'll have a pouty face, head down, take his sweet time to get to the bench, and it's just a hard ego to manage. As tough as a worker as he is, that's what I fully understand why he feels that way about coming off of the bench, because he's a workhorse and he wants the ball in his hands. It's just usually come playoff time.
Yeah.
Actually, every time in his whole career, come playoff time, it's never gone in their favor.
No, I agree, and yeah, he's just a guy who hasn't adjusted to not having the ball in his hand.
But that's why I want the ball in his hand if it's off the bench and if he's playing 25 a night max. And even then, it's still getting to the point where it's a little bit iffy. Was Russ now 33, 34?
Russ has gotten there up in age. He's no spring chicken anymore. But let's talk about the brand new man in a Bulls uniform. His name is Patrick Beverley. He has joined the Chicago Bulls to do it the Chicago way. Have you ever seen that movie?
What?
We'll do it the Chicago way. Chicago way.
I don't believe so.
No? Untouchables?
Never heard of that.
You've never?
I've heard of Uncrustables.
They pull out a knife, you pull out a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue. That's the Chicago way. That's how you get Capone.
I don't watch action movies.
You've never seen Sean Connery as Jim Malone?
I don't know. I don't even know who Sean Connery is. Isn't he James Bond?
Yeah, the original James Bond. You've never seen The Untouchables. You haven't lived.
I've seen The Incredibles.
The Untouchables. It's about Elliot Ness and bootlegging alcohol during the 1930s.
I mean, it sounds cool. Yeah, it sounds cool. Al Capone. It's a beast.
Oh. But yeah, they have Sean Connery play like a Chicago guy, but he has like a Scottish accent. It's an award. It's an award-winning movie. There's a part where he's like, "That's the Chicago way." It's such a good line, but like it's just like you're Sean Connery.
Nice. Yeah, I don't know too much about Sean Connery, so I probably won't think too much about that. I just think of him as James Bond.
Yeah, no, just watch The Untouchables. It's basically about the Elliot Ness, who's like the most famous treasury agent, which were the guys who fought for Prohibition. So they would go and like arrest gangsters, and he was the guy who arrested Al Capone.
Oh, that seems like a sad story.
It is kind of sad at one point because at the end they talk about how Elliot Ness, when Prohibition ended, he said, "Well, it seems like it's a good day to have a drink," and then he died 10 years later for alcoholism.
Alcoholism.
Pat Bev, he said, "I was looking at the Golden State Warriors and the Chicago Bulls." And I almost said Chicago way again. I had to stop myself. But the Chicago Bulls and the Golden State Warriors, and he's looking at the conferences, and he's like, yeah, he's like, the East is kind of weak right now. So he thought I'd make a playoff push with the Chicago Bulls.
I ain't afraid of anybody in the East, is what he said to himself. He should have gone to Golden State because they really could use Patrick Beverley, and he would get him over to that next level. But I'll take him over here in Chicago. I absolutely love it. It's easy to forget that Pat Bev isn't a Chicago guy. Now it won't be hard to remember that one, but he's exactly what we need, and it works out a lot better than Russell Westbrook. I just never really saw. I guess I never put the pieces together. I never really quite thought Patrick Beverley was going to be a Chicago Bull. I didn't think we'd get either of them. So he's exactly what we need, and I'm excited.
I honestly did expect them to pivot to Pat Bev.
Well, once it happened, yeah, but it didn't happen like 1 hour later after Russ got signed. He was like,
I'm just surprised that the Bulls chose Pat Bev over John Wall.
Dude, and it really sucks. People need to know this. John Wall's not good anymore. He's not good. I don't know who else needs to hear that. John Wall's not good anymore.
I need to you to stop this John Wall slander.
Yeah, please pull up his statistics.
John Wall could, I don't know if start, but John Wall could be great off the bench for a team right now.
I will still take John Wall on the Chicago Bulls.
20 minutes a night this past season in 34 games, 11.5 points, 41% from the field, 30% from three, 3 assists, 5 rebounds, a steal a night.
So, yeah, we need defense and 3-point shooting.
Yeah, I get
a little bit of playmaking, which I guess John does provide that. But John Wall is not an efficient basketball player. How's that?
I guess I agree with you. His offensive rating was 102 this year, and his defensive rating was 114. So first off, he's not a terrible defender. He's like a little bit below league average, but also he was on like the Clippers when they weren't necessarily like surging.
He's
averaging
he's
averaging 2 steals a night and a block.
John
a game.
Wall?
Yeah, 2 steals a night.
No, that is not and a block in 20 minutes, John Wall.
Well, let me make sure. Way. I just looked at his per 100 possessions.
Okay.
He's averaging.
Those are crazy stats. He's not even averaging a steal per game.
He's averaging a steal game, basically.
No, he's not. 0.8 is 80 is
a steal. Round up, baby. About a steal game.
No, you round up to the nearest decimal point, not a whole.
Yeah, he's about a steal game.
John 80 Wall is a lot different than 100, though. Is what I'm saying.
Watch John Wall go
B- and an A+ are.
Watch John Wall go to the Miami Heat or John Wall go to the Washington Wizards and make everyone regret doubting John Wall. Well, the Bulls. Look,
I'm rooting for Wash.
Pat Bev. I'm rooting for Wash too, but we can agree Pat Bev was the better fit for Chicago. You said it. They needed 3-point shooting and defense.
And just like a leader and an intense, just like a guy who
Tish said it better. Pat Bev can actually play off ball. John Wall doesn't play well off ball. I think that's a big other thing.
Because Lavin's going to have the ball in his hands.
Yeah, and Pat Bev has shown that he can play off ball. Like you said, they need the leadership. It was a better story. Pat Bev was the better fit. I still think John Wall currently is the better player. But Pat Bev was the better.
Fat disagree there.
Really? You think John Wall versus Pat Bev right now 1-on-1?
What? Those are completely 1-on-1 is a completely different thing. And I still would take Pat Bev, by the way. But those are
really
1-on-1 and 5-on-5 are completely different things.
All right. What's a better team, the Washington Wizards with Patrick Beverley or the Washington Wizards with John Wall?
It's a good question.
Because I think John Wall, those two players.
Go Bev. I know Bev didn't start great, so his stats probably are still measly. But, I mean, here's my take. the Minnesota Timberwolves don't make the playoffs without Pat Bev last year. So he's like a point guard version of Draymond Green, where it's hard to really look at statistics with Pat Bev.
Tish is saying whiz with Pat Bev. I think
Yes, sir.
I think John Wall, he can still be who he used to be, but you got to use him in spurts. Like 20, 22 minutes is like what you got. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm biased. Like, I love John Wall, like, so much.
Good.
I still think he has it. He just needs to be in a scheme that uses him right.
Teach their own, man.
Nice. Does Pat Bev push the Bulls to the playoffs?
Well,
How much does this raise your floor, or does this raise your ceiling? I think this is a floor raising move.
So I think it. Oh yeah. I think it helps us a lot. I don't know what's going to happen with Washington and Toronto, and if I had to bet on it, I would imagine
Chicago's what, 7 right now or 6?
We're 11. We've lost 6 straight games.
Holy fuck, dude! Last week they were at 6.
Out.
Chicago was in the playoffs.
No.
I felt like a few games ago the Bulls were.
We were a game below 500 like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, okay, maybe that's what I was thinking. I was like, there's a moment when the Bulls we were like thinking that they're about to turn their season around. Okay, so yeah, my apology. I guess this past week just threw me off where the Bulls standing were. Also, we have to admit the Raptors and the Wizards kind of have been over the last 10 games, like been playing phenomenally. That's just like
I wouldn't use the word phenomenally.
Wizards
Better than Chicago.
Wizards. I think we agree on the Wizards. The Wizards are
phenomenal.
For what their season has. For the last 2 weeks, the Wizards have been pushing. You can't deny.
Washington's been banged up for months. It feels like, and
they're finally healthy.
Now they're back,
and they're like, and that way it goes back to your saying. The Bulls are the 11th seed, okay, and obviously I think they're better than Pacers, Magic, Hornets, Pistons, but I think you bring up a point like the Raptors, Wizards, Hawks, because like I think that the Bulls are right below.
The Hawks will be fine.
Yeah,
but what I'm saying is I think
are you trying
one
to beat,
of Washington or Toronto can falter.
I think it's Toronto. I see Washington starting to click. Maybe that's me being a biased Wizards fan, but
I'm gonna go off history here.
Shut up. But
history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So I wouldn't be surprised if Washington. I mean, Chicago's got to figure it out. You can't go on 6-game losing streaks. They got to really play good in these last 20 or so games.
Does Chicago have its pick this year?
No, I believe it.
San Antonio.
It's what is it? Top 4, top 6. It's got protection on it, I believe.
Yeah, but I think it's
going to Orlando.
Orlando or San Antonio. It's from one of the trades, right?
I think it's from the Wendell trade.
So I think the Bulls make the playoffs because the Raptors own their pick this year, and I think the Raptors give themselves a few games after the All-Star break to try to make it to 500. But if they don't make it to 500, I could see the Raptors being like, fuck it.
The bad news is we have not had any update on OG Anunoby, which wasn't supposed to be this serious of an injury.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I could see the Raptors because the Wizards have more of a reason to make a playoff push because they need to show Kristaps and Kyle Kuzma progress, like for the team, that this team works somewhat. While the Raptors, they could call this a wash year and get another high draft pick, while the Bulls can't risk having a high draft pick.
I mean, we're talking about moving one spot.
Yeah.
2 spots, maybe.
Yeah, but you're telling me you wouldn't mind Bulls versus Wizards?
No, I'd love the Bulls to make the playoffs. I'm just saying I don't think Toronto, if they were thrown in the towel and looking for a quick retool, they would have traded somebody not named Ken Birch.
I mean, they did that. They retooled a few seasons ago when they got Scotty Barnes, and the only person they traded was Norman Powell.
That was a pretty big move, but
you get what I'm saying. They kept the core, and they just rested everyone. I just don't know.
I don't think we're quite at that level yet, but
I just don't know if Pat Bev gets you past to like out of the play-in, which I don't even think it's possible to get out of the play-in at this point.
It's definitely going to be a tough climb. I don't want to play the Miami Heat. I feel a little bit better with the Hawks, but I definitely do not want to play the Miami Heat. But what is if it were to end right now, we'd have to beat Atlanta and Washington, and I think that's possible. Unlikely, but possible. This is a move where it's like, why not?
Why is it to me that I feel like it's easier for the Bulls to beat Atlanta than it would be to beat Washington?
Probably because they're Wizards.
Yeah, but I just think the top players on the – I would take Beal, Kuzma, and Kristaps over Murray and Trae Young.
The issue with the Washington Wizards, as it has been all year and for the last 5 years, is – okay, yeah, they're healthy right now. How long is that going to last?
No, I know, but who do you think, a healthy Bulls versus the Wizards or a healthy Bulls versus the Hawks?
Well, you're going to have to get through both.
I know, but which one would you say is easier to beat? I would say it's the Hawks.
I'm going to go Washington, but I think Atlanta will start clicking soon.
Yeah. Let's pivot over here. We spent some time on this, and let's talk about a guy who's back in the NBA. And as a Jewish guy, I really think Meyers Leonard's done as much as he can to prove. He really – dude, the amount of time I've seen people say the K word in the gaming community, I really don't think he did anything bad. Like, honestly, what he said wasn't as harmful of a rhetoric as as what Kanye did, okay? Because I don't want to compare him to Kyrie because there's different situations, and I think low-key Kyrie's situation was overblown due to the Kanye West situation. Like, what Kyrie did, was it not right? Yeah, but like it really was kind of overblown, and he should have just like clarified why he shared the link. That's really all. But like, I really don't think Kyrie did anything that bad. And Meyers Leonard, he's done so much. Like, he's gone on like the PR tour. He's met for the past few years with Jewish leaders. Like, I really think this guy has shown that he's genuinely done everything. And also the slur supposedly correlated with a bunch of injuries, that he suffered nerve damage from surgery. So that's part of the reason why it took so long for him to come back. And he was a solid player. You know, he's a guy who's averaged like 6 points, 5 or 6 rebounds, for like a 39% career 3-point shooter, kind of protect the rim. He's a stretch big. But I think Meyers Leonard's done everything. From a Jewish guy right here perspective, I think he's done everything. And he didn't do anything really too harmful. Like, he made a mistake, and he's learned from it, and he's done everything that he can to move on from it and to amend. What are your thoughts from someone who isn't Jewish, just from a family?
Yeah, I'm not Jewish. I don't really even know too many Jewish folk, but I think the world is so unbelievably soft, whether it's the Kyrie or Anthony Edwards. I mean, like I said, I'm not Jewish. So
yeah, no, I agree. The world's soft. The only one that was dangerous, in my opinion, was Kanye. Kanye was actually like dangerous. I think like Kanye, when he went that, like it was like the most like in that span during the Kanye thing was the most searches for Hitler in in the last 15 years. Like, it's peaked. There was the most searches for Hitler like in an internet history during that period. And like,
well, yeah, we could get into Hitler, but that's a whole
other
thing.
And that's Kanye. That's not basketball. But what I'm saying is, like, I compare all these like slurs and stuff. I was like, is it as dangerous as what like Kanye was saying? You know, no.
Well, I'm once again not going to compare Kanye because like a whole other. That's
a whole other thing. But do you agree with me? What like Kanye was saying is way more dangerous than any of the, even Anthony Edwards saying like saying the gay slur.
Didn't he say fag?
Yeah. He said
so. I don't get what we're doing here.
He said, did he say he's like, look at these fags, or was it look at these queers? It was something like that. It was a video.
He might not drop the F word.
He said something, or was the caption where it was like, it was an Instagram video of gay guys outside of like a club dressed up, like, you know, like going out for, you know,
like it's if Meyers Leonard was Jewish, this would be, I don't think this would be a thing at all. People would still make it to be a thing, or quick to anger or slow to understand. Meyers Leonard was born in the 90s, early 90s, which means he went to school in
I played video
mid
game.
2000s. And
Yeah, like
yeah,
I
you
play
know
video
how
game
it is.
culture.
Even
I've said so much fucked up shit playing video games. Like I was playing FIFA last night and the game went to 7-5. Okay, I lost 7-5. We scored 12 goals. Like I was screaming at Luke.
yeah,
Okay,
this is just how it is. And especially in that era, I mean, I could call somebody, take a page out of Anthony Edwards' notebook. Like
it's not
Meyers
like
Leonard in high school could probably call somebody a fag in class, and the teacher would be like, Myers. And
Oh,
nowadays it would be like, you need to go. First off, what are your pronouns? You need to go to the principal. You need
I
to tell
graduated high
everybody you're
school
sorry.
I graduated high school 6 years ago, dude. I used to say fag and jihadist.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like
Exactly.
we were talking about eunuchs one time, and I was like, I say he's a fag, and I was just like, because we were talking about eunuchs, which were the guys who get their balls cut off in the middle ages, like in medieval times, so they could stay being the sopranos for the kings and be singers. But yeah, no, like, I mean, I can say the word, but I said it once on this show, and we got like comments saying that I shouldn't say that. But
I do remember that, but it's like, so for you saying that word, or I guess it's probably not as prevalent as the other word, but like if you hang around like a couple of black dudes, I mean, it's a free for all. Like that word is gonna be dropped.
yeah,
numerous
we
times.
don't say the K word. Like I think the only times I hang out with my Jewish friends, we'll only ever say the K word when we're joking around about people being anti-Semitic. We're like, yeah, they're gonna come over and tell all kikes to like pack up in a van or something, joking around. You know what I mean? Like, but that's like with my other Jew, but we rarely use that word. Like it's not even brought up. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
only like if we're joking and like it's a bunch of Jewish people, or like we all just laugh. Like, but you don't go around and be like, "What's up, my?" Like how like
Yeah.
and it's just like, and it's really only like in American culture, because my two aunts who passed away 6 months ago, who were 99 and 100, they were both like 10-year-olds in the Holocaust. Like they were in I don't know if they were in Auschwitz, but they were in concentration camps and they survived. And like I had crazy stories I've never heard them say. Granted, they speak Spanish and Serbian, so like I don't know if there's like a Spanish Serbian equivalent to that word. But let's actually just do a quick little 10-day contract for Meyers Leonard. And I think this is a move they did because of Bobby Portis injury and the Giannis Antetokounmpo injury, because the wrist injury is worse. I don't know what to expect from Meyers Leonard. And when you look at the Bucks roster, does Meyers Leonard help them out that much? I just see it as a depth move. I really don't think we'd see Meyers Leonard that much, this season. I think it's more of, hey, we have injuries that we don't know how long it's going to last. Like Bobby Portis is dealing with that knee injury. Jay Crowder is still working his way back into NBA shape. Pat Connaughton and Chris Middleton are day-to-day. Same thing with Giannis Antetokounmpo. So right now their current team is Drew Holiday, Grayson Allen, Javon Carter, Joe Ingles, Brooke Lopez, Grayson Allen, and I guess Meyers Leonard. So they just needed a guy to come in and help them through this injury. And if he plays decent, he might get himself a second contract. But I think he's just trying to alleviate, some of the lost shooting that they don't have right now with Meyers. What is your thought? Do you think that's just they're just hit? They've been hit with the injury bug right now. People don't realize Bucks, who have been playing very well, the injury. What up, Rocket News? But they're hit with the injury bug. Meyers Leonard's here just to help alleviate, until Jay Crowder, Brooke Lopez. I also think Joe Ingles hasn't really been that great this year. So I think it's just kind of like bring somebody out in to help fortify the troops until the rest of the troops get back to 100.
Yeah, I believe Meyers is a great 3-point shooter.
Career 39%.
Yeah, 39.
His last 3 seasons, I think he shot like 40% from 3.
What was it that he was on that? He was on that team, the Miami Heat team that made it to the finals.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Bubble finals.
He's just a veteran. I mean, he's got a ton of experience in this league, and he can knock down those threes. So he actually started almost every game for the Heat that year, and that changed in the playoffs.
But again, it was like start the game, play 20 minutes, though.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're not picking him up, and he's going to be I think with Russ and Pat Bev getting signed yesterday, maybe John Wall there's an argument, but I think we're past that point where any of these guys are going to make
Meyers Leonard is a
contributions.
specialist. Meyers Leonard is like Steve Novak with better defense and not as good as a shooter as Steve Novak, but he's a taller Steve Novak with a bit better defense and rebounding. He's just going to come in on offense. You just throw him on the 3-point line and you tell him to shoot threes. And then on defense, he can guard power forwards and centers, and he can, he's a body.
It's better than Serge Ibaka.
Yeah, yeah. I was about to say.
He's playable.
Out of all the 3-point shooting bigs, you could get LaMarcus Aldridge, Paul Millsap. Meyers Leonard was probably the best option out there. Yeah. Serge, they needed somebody to do Serge Ibaka couldn't do this. And again, it's a 10-day contract. He's not on the team for the rest of the season. He's just, he worked out with the team last month. They like what they saw. They want to see him for 10 games. Good. Tish. And also, the problem with his offense is he's now a league average 3-point shooter at 34% when he was closer to 40%. So his 3-point shooting isn't fully there either. But yeah, he's just abysmal on defense. Yeah,
that's the concern with the Bucks is guys like Chris and Ingles coming back from severe injuries. Just takes a while to get your legs under them. But we saw Clay at the end of the year last year kind of figure that one out too.
Yeah, now also Clay figuring it out now,
Oh yeah. But I'm saying he came back from injury after missing years, and it took him a while to get those legs back. So the Bucks look good. They just you got to stay healthy.
Let's just do 2 minutes on this. How bad is this wrist injury? They said he'll return to play. He avoided severe wrist injury, damage, but how long? And he'll play once the swelling subsides. As someone who suffered his own, I fractured my wrist about 2 weeks ago. I'll show you guys how it looks. I know it's kind of a similar injury to what Giannis. So right now, 2 weeks through my wrist injury, I have ready. This is how much I can move down, but this is how much I can only move. So I can go this wrist all the way. This is how far I can move this wrist right now. I have still some pain right here. 2 weeks in, okay, I have a slight, a very small fracture in my bone. From what I understand with the injury to Giannis, also my skin is fucking fucked right now. But I think 2 weeks. How long ago did Giannis suffer this injury? A week ago?
Yeah, about around.
So next season will be 2 weeks. He'll probably have swelling gone by then. But I say this is a month injury, the wrist recovery. 2 weeks till the swelling's gone for him. But besides that, yeah, I think it's gonna take a little bit longer than people think. I think this is a month recovery. What I've been told is 3 to 6 weeks, and this is for a small fracture. And I think what are they saying? He has a severe wrist sprain.
Oh, he didn't break it?
Yeah, he didn't break the wrist. But from my understanding, talking with orthopedics, you can have a severe wrist sprain, which it can be torn ligaments and small chips or small cracks to the bone.
Yeah.
Go.
I was just he'll be totally fine. I don't.
Yeah. I just think how long do you think he's going to be out? I think he'll be out
max.
Yeah, I think he misses a week or 2 weeks after the All-Star break max. I just from personal experience as someone who's suffered a wrist injury, they told me 3 to 5 weeks. I only had a cast for a week, and they put me back in a brace already. So I think they told me I could be back to playing basketball. I suffered it beginning of February. That by the beginning of March, I could be playing basketball again.
Yeah, it's not the end of the world. When I broke my wrist, I was back on the court. I kept my brace on. I started shooting lefty, but I'm not Giannis. So even if the playoffs were next week, I think he'd still be back. And it's not like he's a crazy shooter. It obviously would still be a hindrance, but the good news is playoffs aren't next week. So
yeah. I think it all just comes down to how bad the wrist injury is. I also scratched my eye and my eye's now itchy. But no, I think it all just comes down to how the tendons and how the small little bones are doing right there.
It'll be fine. I like what Tish said too. I wonder if Chris will be off his minutes restriction when they come back, and they'll be just fine. Giannis has missed some games this year, and if he misses 7 games, they'll still be fine at a 500 record. And yeah, my concern level is at a 0 out of 10.
No, I agree. So
it did suck that in the All-Star game, both Giannis and Giannis got injured before he played the first possession, but then LeBron got injured, so the 2 All-Star captains were injured and didn't finish the game, which sucks.
So let's go right here and let's talk about NBA awards. We're going to run through a segment right now. We're going to do our midseason awards. Editors start clipping now. This is one full segment.
Is it me or somebody else clipping this?
You, but like today I'm actually trying to figure out how to get everyone to start working today. So or tomorrow.
I'm aware we just changed topics.
But no, let's go over here and let's talk about the MVP ladder. In first place, a man who allegedly is running away, Nikola Jokic, in first place. In second place, the same, our man Giannis Antetokounmpo. In third place, Joel Embiid. Fourth place, Jason Tatum. In fifth place, Luka Doncic. I personally think at this point, it is a runaway trophy for the 3rd year in a row for Nikola Jokic. Best team in the NBA, best player in the NBA. It's absurd what he's doing. All right, averaging 25 points, 11.5 rebounds, and 10 assists. He's averaging a triple-double. 3rd player in NBA history to average a triple-double for a season. What is your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm worried about voter fatigue, but he's doing better than last year. So, and they're the 1 seed as it stands. Be hard to not give it to Jokic.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's like impossible. And yeah, no, I really think it's just more and more articles I'm reading from guys who have NBA votes in the media, and they're saying they're voting for Nikola Jokic. Like what he's doing this season's unreal. Like we're not even talking from a stats. Like just look at all the advanced stats in the NBA: Raptor rating, PER, advanced stats. Jokic is like the leader, and it's not like leader by like 1 or 2 points. No, like it's like Jokic, and then it's like next person in every like advanced stat. Like he has like almost double everybody. Offensively,
I love that my voters can't dribble basketballs properly or make layups, free throws.
So what would you want to do next? Defensive player of the year?
Yeah, it's Jaren Jackson.
Yeah, that's So let's go over here. Is there anyone who could challenge Jaren Jackson?
Well, I think it would be games played, but I actually don't think it'll be an issue. Off the dome, Brooke. I think OG is going to miss too much time.
Can I tell you my
Dylan Brooks is there.
I have 4 guys. I think it's a 4-man race with, like you said, Jaren Jackson Jr. is the front favorite. If Jaren Jackson was to get hurt or to fall off a cliff, I think the other 3 guys are Brook Lopez, Bam Adebayo, and Nick Claxton.
Bam, yep. Nick Claxton.
I think Bam Adebayo is the only other player out of those 4 players that does what Jaren Jackson Jr. does, which is guard 1 through 5. And, Nick Claxton kind of does it. Brook Lopez is more of your traditional center, in the vein of Rudy Gobert, where he has this gravity and, like, locks down the paint. Like, all 4 guys do that, but, like, that's what Brook Lopez is, what's carrying him this year. Nick Claxton has some of the switchability that Jaren Jackson and Bam have, but Nick isn't the best on guards, but he can guard wings and forwards and centers. And he's been phenomenal, but Bam's out of the 4 guys, the only other guy besides Jaren Jackson Jr. that can do what Jaren Jackson Jr. can do. But Jaren Jackson Jr., after missing a good portion of the league, he has 3.27 blocks per game. Brook Lopez and Claxton are, tied for most blocks and totals at like 139. and Jackson is only 8 blocks behind them with more than 14 games less played than them. So, and then OG Anunoby was in this race, but then he got hurt. But I really think it's runaway Jaren Jackson Jr. at this point.
Yeah.
Only thing keeping him is if he got hurt or if he fell off a cliff. So let's move on to the next one. And I don't even know if this is. I think we can just do this one really quickly because I think it's already a given that we've seen who they're going to give it to.
Banchero.
No, I mean that was going to be the fall. I was going to do the two quick ones. Most improved player, Shea. Right, we're doing Shea. That's what they're going to.
Yeah, I'll give Shea.
Well, they had Jaw last year.
I hate the most improved player award in general. It's very confusing to me, but yeah, Shea's having an MVP last year.
No, I agree. He's having a great year. The next one, Rookie of the Year, Paolo Banchero, right?
Yeah.
I think that one's pretty obvious.
Even though he's struggling right now, it's still not even close.
Yeah, it's still not even close. I mean, and him struggling is just like not even a struggle. Like it's just him hitting the rookie wall probably. Next up is our man, the 6th man of the year, where I think it actually gets a little harder. Who's going to win the John Havlicek trophy?
It was a runaway to Bobby Portis for me.
I think, who's climbed up? Malcolm Brogdon. And no, you know who else was the runaway? It was either at one point Bobby Portis, and before that it was Russell Westbrook.
You're right, dude. Russ
was. So now it becomes, I think, the 3 guys: Brogdon, Norman Powell, and Benedict Mathurin.
Oh,
I think Bobby Portis has missed too many games at this point.
Yeah, and he will continue.
Yeah, so it's Brogdon right now, right?
It'll either be Russ is going to start.
So Brogdon or Powell?
I mean, Powell's doing a phenomenal job under the radar, but yeah, I think it's Brogdon.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy that one. We got Defensive Player of the Year, we got 6th Man of the Year, we got Rookie of the Year, we got Most Improved, we got NBA MVP. Is the only thing left Coach of the Year.
Yep.
Am I right?
I believe so.
For me, it's either Taylor Jenkins or of the Memphis Grizzlies or Mike Malone.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. I think Jenkins is out. I think he'll be done by the time Memphis continues to choke. So I'm either Missoula or Malone. I think it'll be Malone.
Oh shit, Missoula's an option too. I forgot now that he's head coach. Yeah.
Sacramento's. I think they're gonna fall as well.
Yeah, I think it's between Joe Mazzulla and Mike Malone. Yeah. And I think they do Joe Mazzulla because of the story.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, NBA loves a good narrative.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Hey, Thomas. Tish, good. I mean, Mike Brown's a really good one. I just think Joe Mazzulla and the second Mike Malone, they usually do the best coach for the best team. And Joe Mazzulla is just a really good story that the NBA would love to propagate. Am I wrong, though?
No. They would love it.
They would love to promote that. Like, oh, look at this guy. He went through unforeseen, Okay, so let's look over here.
I'm going to give Stephen Silas Coach of the Year, actually.
Stephen Silas?
Yeah. He's done a phenomenal job.
So I'm looking over here for anything we can talk about before we go into our next. Did you see our man, Kevin Love, is wearing a New Jersey?
What is it?
42, baby.
Oh, we're back.
We're back. Number 42. Number 42 on the court. Number 42 in your hearts.
Very cool.
Yeah, I thought that one was cool. I I really thought that was wild. But what else is there over here to talk about for us? And it's been a little. Dude, Elder Marquise Johnson was dunking at 64.
Let's see, they shut down our stream yesterday.
Days ago.
What?
I'm here at Gil's Arena. We got to do it up right. I've got on the.
Check. Look at these shoes. He's calling himself the Black Mac McClung. And he's rocking the Crenshaw 50th anniversary championship. This is a pretty good video. He's 67. He says this is the 80s All-Star jacket. He's like, the 80s used to be more.
Nice. Max was better, but he can have second place.
That video was funny. I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that video way too much. Marquise Johnson's so funny. All right. Here's a little something. Let's play this game real quick before we do Pirtle. And it's a different game than we've ever played before.
Wow.
Yeah, this game, I would like to call it, Where Do You Want Vic to Go?
I don't fucking care. Houston.
Is that you being biased?
Obviously.
All right. So
He doesn't want to play center. He fits perfectly.
He doesn't want to play center?
Perfect's not the right word.
He said he doesn't want to play center?
Yeah.
Wait, what do you mean?
He doesn't want to play center.
When has Victor Wembanyama said that he has to play center? It doesn't want to play center in the
It
NBA.
was yesterday.
Really?
Might have been 2 days ago, yeah.
That he said he doesn't? So out of all the bad teams, I personally would love Victor Wembanyama to go to the San Antonio Spurs. I've been saying this for the whole time. I just would love the Spurs to have Victor Wembanyama.
I know you would.
Tell me that.
I don't really care where he goes. San Antonio would be cool. Detroit would be cool. Charlotte would be cool. Houston would be the coolest, but I wouldn't mind him in a Piston uniform.
Pistons would be cool. I don't know, man. I look at Victor Wembanyama and I either want him to go to Charlotte or San Antonio. I either want him to be playing with LaMelo Ball, which would be so cool, or I would want him to go to San Antonio and like have Greg Popovich have someone like insane for his last few seasons.
Yeah.
I look at Detroit and I'm like, if Detroit gets him, I was like, this is just gonna screw over Duren, Isaiah Stewart, Marvin Bagley, James Wiseman.
4 of those 5 players are kind of trending downwards on the Pistons.
I want all those guys.
They'll be just fine.
And then if he goes to Houston, I just think if Steven Silas is there, Steven Silas would be the guy to make Victor Wembanyama not as good.
Yeah, Silas better be gone.
Dude, how sad would you be if they kept Silas and they drafted Victor Wembanyama? Would you be like, okay, Vic's going to be average?
No, I don't. I have a hard time believing Silas will be the coach of us next year. I think that would be unbelievable.
Where do you guys think Vic should go? I think it's San Antonio. I would love to see Cullen Johnson, Devin Vassell. All right, what's a random team that could get Victor Wembanyama?
The Pelicans?
That would be insane.
Or is it top 4 protected, or do they just outright?
I think it's outright. Maybe it is top 4. But I think it's outright.
No, I think it is outright, yeah.
I think it's outright.
If you went to the Pelicans, I would lose my mind. I'd be so happy.
What about the Utah Jazz?
Ugh.
It'd be so gross.
Disgusting.
Fish says the Spurs or the Pistons. I say the Spurs or the Hornets. I just love the idea. Imagine LaMelo Ball going like this. Like, pick and roll. Vic sets it and he just lobs it. Like,
Yep.
I think that would be insane. It'd be so much fun to watch.
Keep him in Charlotte for at least another couple of years.
Yeah, for another 4 years. But do you think he's going to be the guy that people say he is?
Yeah, I do. I still have my injury concerns, but I think when he's healthy and he plays, he can knock down those shots as well. So
my whole thing is how he responds to putting on the weight. I've said this before. I really think he's a combination of Rudy Gobert, Kristaps Porzingis, and like Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like body size, play style. Like he can protect the rim like Vic. He can guard everyone and move like Giannis. But like Rudy. And he can guard the rim like Rudy. He can move like Giannis, but he has that 3-point shooting and like shooting like ability of Kristaps Porzingis that no one can block your shot. Has anyone ever blocked Kristaps Porzingis shooting a three? I'd someone find me a clip of Kristaps being blocked from three.
Yeah, right.
Isn't that like a great point I just brought up? Like, I don't think I've ever seen Kristaps Porzingis blocked from three. Same thing with Kevin Durant.
Yeah.
I don't think that you've ever seen those guys blocked from the 3-point line.
It was a hard thing to do.
Yeah. So I just hope he goes to the Spurs or the Hornets because I feel like they have the players around there that he would like. Both of those teams, I could just imagine him playing next to Miles Bridges, PJ Washington, and LaMelo.
Miles Bridges just threw him in there, didn't you?
Oh, I thought you saw 2 days ago the Hornets announced that they're re-signing Miles Bridges and PJ Washington this offseason.
Wow.
Yeah. They've denied reports that they're trying to sign Miles Bridges this season, which I initially reported was part of the reason why they were trying to sign Miles Bridges this season was they were going to sign him to a very cheap contract, second year being a lot more money.
Get those suspension games out of the way.
That exactly. The rumor was sign him now, have him be suspended for the rest of the season, then start next year. And get him like a cheap deal this year.
That is unbelievable.
All right, let's cue that music.
That's crazy. Oh wait, this is 3 months ago. Yeah, I don't see that anywhere, but
I'll put it up right now. All right, here we are. Wait 1 second. Hornets are prioritizing retaining Miles Bridges and PJ Washington as free agents. Anticipate a strong market 1 week ago.
So interesting. I've never heard of that guy. I'm gonna look him up.
Alrighty. Oh, dude, this is Jordan Clarkson.
Oh shoot, I'm not even looking. Yeah. Fuck. It's been bad. Too easy.
It has been bad.
Or are we just getting dialed?
Yeah, maybe we're dialed in. That was easy. That was depressing.
Yeah. Back to back. Tough week for Pirtle.
Yeah, tough week. They've been lacking.
Damn.
Ooh.
So what's the word we'll clip into?
I need to basically like make a Google Docs explaining to them like a procedure list to like how to do the like clipping the thumbnails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I want to make everything today and like try to get them to start this week.
So clip today.
Yeah, you clip today. I'm gonna try to see if I can get them to start tomorrow. Because they both want to start working. I just can't tell them, okay, go start, because they don't know what the fuck to do. You know what I mean? And
it takes a while.
And that's why I thought I was like, okay, let's do. If I just sit down and make like a Google Docs with like a list of like instructions, you know, and then I could take screenshots of like how to do stuff, and then like put like basically make like a PDF file where I just send it to them and was like, this is your manual. I was like, if you have any questions on how to do something, refer to this.
Please read.
Yeah, please read.
And call or text.
Call
customer support for additional help.
No, dude, I'm so. Oh, I got work today. Also, next year. So I'm talking with professors. I might not work next year. I might be just a graduate fellowship, like a graduate teaching assistant. Did you guys have those at Loyola?
Yeah.
So
always were fucking dorks.
Yeah, so like because Miami's a private school, they don't do scholarships. Like you can most private schools don't do scholarships. They only do like graduate assistantships, and then they like have external scholarships. So yeah, so to get like discounted tuition, I'll have to be like a graduate assistant and do like scholarships. So my thought process was like, if I'm going to do that, I'm just going to go so hard on YouTube for 9 months because that's how long the program is. Postpone starting my career.
Nice.
Yeah, so balls to the wall next year is the plan. Also, so there's 3 notifications on Twitter. The Brooklyn Nets have signed Jacques Vaughn to a multi-year extension.
Nice.
Thoughts?
Nice.
Who fucking cares?
Yeah.
All right. You got any else to think about before we go?
No.
That's it for you today?
Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the show for today. We'll be back tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. If you guys did enjoy, please tell a friend. If you didn't, just forget it ever happened. Bye, Jackson.
Peace.